Okay, it's time for multiple outputs. Whoa! How are we going to do that? Well, let's find out. Add a new text, so give it that multiple outputs subheader. And let's come up with a problem where this would actually make sense. It's actually much more common than you might expect. Again, I can press Shift Enter to get the new coding cell. So let's do this. Write a function that returns the area and circumference of a circle. All right, that's two different things. Let's write it together. So here we go. Let's see if you can start it, right? How would you start this? What's the first thing that you should do? Go ahead. I'll follow in right behind you. DEF, right? That's the essential keyword to start a function. Then a name. Sometimes names can be longer, sometimes they can be shorter. I'm just going to call this one circle to be short for now. I could call it area and circumference of circle. It's a little long. Now, critically in here, what should the input be? It's not just like any number. For a circle, the formula are based on the radius. So I'm going to put radius as the input, followed by a colon. Okay, so that's the definition. Now I want to set up my variable, so I press return. Okay, we got two different pieces here, area and circumference. Now you have to recall like what these are mathematically. So the area is pi r squared, okay? Area, we'll just use the crude 3.14 estimate for pi, 3.14 times the radius squared. There's to the second power. Python will interpret this correctly because the order of operations says exponents come before multiplication. Cool. Now for the circumference. Look at this. It's providing it as an option because it's, well, I'm not sure why. We haven't defined it. You gotta be a little careful there. I don't think it's predefined here. That's interesting. They may be predicting this. And look, here's the thing. When you write it like that and it doesn't change color, you're okay. Imagine that you wanted to call it something like, hey, let's change it and say, I want to assign a variable to int. You're going to have problems. But you see how int is color coded? So if it color codes, you don't want to assign that as a variable. Okay, so get rid of that. So my point here is that circumference is not predefined by Python. We can, in fact, use it. So the formula for circumference is 2 pi r. So it's 2 times 3.14 times the radius. Now, I want to return both of these. Any ideas? Just like the multiple inputs. Yeah. Do return area, comma circumference. Circumference is a little hard to write. There you go. And that should work. Okay, so press Shift Enter to run it. No errors. Now let's call it using something that that you can test and check. If you put in crazy numbers, it might be hard to check. So if I type in circle, okay, do that. It shows up as the first option. And then I'm just going to put in 1, the number 1, because I don't know, I can check it. These are things I can follow. So you might want to try that. Press Shift Enter. And yes, I get the desired output, 3.14 and 6.28. Now, by the way, it's kind of interesting because it's two numbers. And you may wonder, what is the type there? Huh? Well, to figure that out, you can actually put in type of that. And we could actually pick another number even. Circle, let's pick 5. Maybe 10. I want to see how 10 compares to 1. Okay, so inside of type is basically, it's whatever circle 10 is, which should be an output of two numbers. So check it, press Shift Enter, and you get a tuple. Tuples are so cool. So kind of in math, right? Like these are like points, like coordinate points, like 3, 4. Okay, they're a unique type in Python, and we'll talk about them a little bit more later. But that is the standard type of multiple outputs, tuples. Job well done.